Hey YouTube world, I'm just going to have a little chat to you guys about one of these Wi-Fi repeaters or Wi-Fi extenders that I just bought on eBay here in the United States. I was having a little bit of trouble with signal loss, obviously, or signal strength. The download speed was dropping quite dramatically out on the back patio. And yeah, look, summertime here in central Pennsylvania, the grandkids like to have a swim and then hang out on the back patio under the ceiling fans with their devices. You know, that's what grandkids do. They're glued to their devices. But the signal strength was really poor and they were constantly complaining. So our router is down one end of the house, down towards the bedrooms. That's just where everything was located, and I haven't bothered moving it, so that's where it is. And inside the house, everything's fine. As you get towards the back door, the opposite end of the house, the back door is actually on the side, which leads out to a breezeway and then out to the back patio. So the furthest point in the house, furthest away from the router, the download speed is still pretty decent at 30 megabytes per second. When you get out onto the back patio, however, just using one of those speed test apps on my phone, which is the same phone that I'm using to record this video, by the way. Yeah, so 30 megabytes per second in the furthest part of the house away from the router, which is still pretty decent. Don't have any problems with that at 30 megabytes. You get out on the back patio and it drops down to 4, okay? So I'm not a tech head. This is not a review. This is not a setup video. It's not an unboxing video. There's plenty of those. Okay, this brand is called a Wavelink. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. If you look at the picture on this thing, all right, if you go to eBay, you'll find plenty of these. Some are black, some are white, different brands. Some have no brand name on them at all. But for this thing was $10.99, right? $11. Including shipping, which is very, very cheap, and it's doing a great job. It solved the problem. But one thing look, as I said, I'm not a tech head, but I do have quite an analytical mind where I like to think about things. I think placement of these units is key. Placement is very, very important. And what I decided to do was use the download or the speed tester and look at the download in different locations of the house. Now I did the speed test through the router and then switched over to go through the this unit here, the repeater or range extender. So what I did was the location I decided to put it was inside the back, just inside the back door, which as I said is the side door, and I've plugged it in behind the fridge. Seemed like an odd place, I know, but that was about the sweet spot in the direction heading away from the router, heading out to the back patio is where I wanted the problem solved. That was about the sweet spot because at that location, this range extender was operating at the same download speed as going through the router. The further I got away from that, the router was outperforming. Still not good enough. As I said, out on the back patio, the router got down to 4 megabytes per second, which is pretty bad. But anyway, so what I did was this unit now, this repeater or range extender is now about 40 feet from the router, and the back patio is about 75 feet from the router. So now what this has done for me, instead of trying to expect the router to provide really strong download speeds at 75 feet away, as I said, through the router, it's down to 4 megabytes per second. With this little guy here for $11, it's 23, almost 24 megabytes per second. So, look, it's very important to realize these are not a booster, okay? It doesn't amplify the signal. So it's only going to be as good as, it can only repeat or bounce or project the signal as good as it takes in. Okay, so if you put it too far away from the router, it's not going to receive a strong signal, so it can't project a strong signal, which that kind of makes sense to me. So as I said, I think placement of these little guys is key. As you can see, it's 300 megabytes per second. I looked at others that were 750 megabytes per second, but I thought, why would I pay 25 or 30 or $35 for more than that? I didn't think, even at that 30 megabytes, all the kids' tablets, they watch YouTube videos, play games, everything works excellent at 30 megabytes. Well, 10 users at 30 megabytes is 300. Now, I don't know if it works exactly that way, but I just didn't think, it needed to, I don't think it needed to be a $35 unit at 700 megabytes per second. So, and it turns out, I think I'm correct. Well, I'm right enough because I'm happy with the performance. As I said, now 75 feet away from the router, like I'm at 23, 24 megabytes per second download, and everything functions really well. There's no lag, there's no drop signal, there's nothing like that we were experiencing before. The kids would be playing a game and it would freeze or stall, or they'd be trying to watch a video and it would be buffering constantly. So look, for $11, fantastic, dirt cheap. Setup and installation was easy. This guy does have a WPS button. All right, so the owner's manual said plug it into the wall, hold that button for 6 seconds, the light starts flashing, go to your router, hit the WPS button. Now the router and the repeater will communicate. The router is supposed to install. It's supposed to install exactly the same password and everything like that. That didn't work for me. The quick one push of the button setup didn't work. So I crossed over to the manual setup, which was really simple and pretty quick, and that worked really well. So yeah, end result, 7 minutes now on this video. That's a lot longer than I intended, but for $11, including shipping, this unit has worked really, really well. It's been in operation for a few days now. Very happy with it. So if you want to get one of these, I think it's cheap enough to take the risk on. I'm extremely happy with the results. And I said, the only thing I want to think about, look, if there's someone out there with more technical advancements or technical knowledge, leave a comment. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, tell me whatever you want. I'm just some mug trying to set it up. So technical data I can't help you with. I'm not really that much into electronics. I'm just not that interested in it. I'm 50 years old. I didn't grow up with the shit, so it doesn't really mean that much to me. But it was easy to set up, it was cheap, and it solved the problem. And it just makes sense to me that placement is key. You want to maximise obviously you don't want to install it into an outlet on top of the router. What's the point of that? The idea is to move it, install it in the direction that you want to be, away from the router, in the direction that you're trying to broadcast that signal. So that's what I did. I started heading away from the router in the direction that I wanted to fix the problem, and I kind of found that sweet spot. Just so happens it's behind the fridge, but I found that sweet spot of where it's going to pull a strong enough signal from the router and also, be able to repeat that and project it out to where I wanted. So, as I said, it's 40 feet from the router, and it's going another 30 to 35 feet on from that point is where the kids sit and use their tablet. So all right, thanks very much, see ya.